Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be transforming this 6-gallon empty tank into a paludarium for my vampire crabs. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to place this piece of plastic so it can protect the tank from the rocks I'll be putting in. So now that that's done, I can move on to creating the water barrier with these rocks. So the rocks I've chosen are dragonstone. The ideal ratio of land to water for vampire crabs is 80 to 20%. So I'll try to create that with these rocks. Try to minimize gaps where possible. So you saw earlier that this rock was a bit loose, so I just glued it together with some aquarium glue and this sponge. So now it's pretty firm. So now that the water barrier is built, we can move on to creating the land section. So for the land section, we'll be making a drainage system. So for the drainage system, I'll be using this gravel. So this drainage system will basically act as a filtration to avoid your soil from contaminating the water. So now that the gravel has all been laid out, I'm going to create a soil barrier with this piece of netting. So I'm just going to lay it over the gravel just to avoid the soil from mixing with it. So now that we've got a barrier laid out, I can move on to adding in this soil. Okay, so now we've got a nice layer of soil over here. But before I put in the plants, I'm just going to be adding in this piece of driftwood. This kind of looks like a dead tree. So we'll be putting it right here. And we have some roots extending into the water. So for this paludarium, I'll be using assorted Fittonia plants. So I've got these different varieties of them. So I'll be starting off with this slightly larger plant, which will be going in the back of my tank. I'll just be burying it under the soil so it can grow. Okay. So next, for the right side of the tank, I have this quite large plant. It'll be going right over here. Okay. Then now I have slightly smaller ones, which will be going in the empty spots. So I'm putting one over here. And then we've got two more of these. One around here and another one here. So there are a few small empty spaces, such as this one over here. So to fill in those gaps, I'll be adding some of these small ferns. Okay, so I'm just gonna add one over here. just to fill in the gaps. Okay, looks good. Okay, and another one will be going here. Slowly these will go and cover the floor of the tank. So now I'll be focusing on the last component of the land section, which is dead leaves and moss. So I'll be just adding these dead leaves. So these will be important homes for our cleanup crew, the springtails, and vampire crabs will also eat dead leaves or hide between the layers. Just add a few up here. And then we've got some at the back. So now our land section is looking good, and I'm gonna focus on the water section. So I'll be using this sand just to fill in the front part of the tank. Okay, so now we've got a nice layer of sand in the front of the tank. Now we're gonna fill it with water. So the water I'm using for this is just dechlorinated tap water. The water section of the Paludarium does not include a filter, so I'll be relying on some aquatic plants to keep it clean. So first of all, I've got this duckweed. So you can see I've just scattered some duckweed on the surface of the water section. But now I'm gonna add in one more floating plant. So this is kind of big and it covers the surface of the water, so it'll kind of act like a raft to keep the vampire crabs from drowning. And now the Paludarium is complete. And now our tank is ready for its first inhabitants. So I'm gonna be starting off with the water section. So I've got this zebra snail over here. It'll help clean the water section and keep it free from algae. So next I'm gonna put in some springtails. So there are actually almost 50 of them in this container. So I'll just be putting them around the land section so they can clean up the place. And they will also be food for the vampire crabs. So now we're gonna finally add in our crabs. So for this build, I actually have 3 vampire crabs to add in. Let's put in this first one. Oh. Yep, there is our first one. Okay, then we've got one more. And then we've got our last vampire crab. Okay, he's in the water, right over there. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more.